Hello there. I am Warchief, a PNG tuber who focuses on Magic Gathering content, and here are 3 of my favorite commander decks at the moment. These are of course in no particular order, I'm just giving you my 3 favorites. First up, we have Eruth, Tormented Prophet. I like to call this my no thoughts, hand empty deck because eventually I will run out of cards in hand and whatever I get on top is what I get to play. Eruth's ability of course making it so that instead of drawing cards, we exile the top 2 of our library. This is a storm deck, first and foremost. The idea is to have a bunch of cantrips that allow you to draw more cards, generating a bigger pool of potential spells for you to cast and storm off with. Additionally, this deck utilizes things like Bergi, God of Storytelling, to generate more mana each time you cast something. So you should be able to storm off pretty easily with this deck. Having things like Gutter Snipe, Firebrand Archer and Erebor Flamesmith to ping down your opponents for each of those casts is also imperative. This deck also runs cards like City on Fire and Faded Firepower to make those ping effects even deadlier. For the most part, you can just treat this deck as your typical Izzet Spellslinger deck. Except here's the kicker. Since we will eventually have no cards in hand, we will not be running any counter spells in this deck, because we couldn't hold on to those anyway. So what we might as well do is make sure that our storming off doesn't get countered either by having Lear, Disciple of the Drowned in there. We won't be countering things, but neither will our opponents. And Lear also opens up our graveyard to us as a second hand, giving all of our instant and sorcery spells flashback. The second deck I want to talk to you guys about is Acererak the Archlich. This is a unique deck where you essentially combo off by just casting the same spell over and over again, that spell being the commander itself. You see, Acererak's Enter the Battlefield ability says that when Acererak enters the battlefield, if you haven't completed the dungeon Tomb of Annihilation, return him to your hand and venture into dungeon. Now the thing is though, we have no plans to venture into the tomb, but instead we venture into Lost Mine of Phandelver. So we just bounce our commander back and forth between our hand and the battlefield every time we cast him, but we of course need to make this as efficient as possible. And for that purpose we have cost reductors that make our commander cost only 1 mana, so practically for free. Especially fun is the Sibsig Ceremony, because due to how the cards are worded, we still get the Zombie Druid token even if Acererak bounces to our hand, so we still net a creature on the field despite the bounce effect of the commander. Now another crucial part of this combo is to have a way to drain your opponents for each cast of our commander, for which we have things like Bantu's Monument and Ayara, First of the Locthwain in there. And to make the casting of our commander even easier by generating us some free mana for each cast, we run Carnival of Souls in there for that cheeky little infinite combo action. All you need is a cost reducer, Carnival of Souls and a drain effect, and you can go ham with Acererak's bouncing. And the final deck I want to showcase in this video is Golbez's Crystal Collector. This is an artifacts graveyard deck and I really like this deck. It can be an absolute menace on the table. The main idea of this deck is to have big creatures in the graveyard and to use Golbez's ability to bring them back to hand and drain your opponent's life equal to that creature's power. And of course, to help put things into the graveyard, we have Golbez's ability to surveil whenever an artifact enters. So what we do with this deck is we run plenty of cheap artifacts as well as cards that generate us some artifact tokens so that we get to surveil and surveil often. This way, not only do we get to dump big creatures into the graveyard for the sake of Golbez's ability, but we also get to filter what we have on top of our library. Some cards I have personally found to be very strong in enabling this deck to do its thing is the Underworld Cookbook and Collector's Vault. Because we get to not only discard cards to bulk up our graveyard, we also create artifact tokens that allow us to surveil, getting us fodder in their yard very efficiently. Running things like Broodstar, Filigree Attendant and Darksteel Juggernaut as the graveyard fodder is crucial for this deck because the stars in their power are always equal to the number of artifacts we control, even if the creatures themselves are in the graveyard, and we intend to have a lot of artifacts on the field. In order to, of course, have a lot of artifacts on the field, as mentioned earlier, we will have plenty of cheap artifacts, but also token generation. Cards like Simulacrum Synthesizer, Efficient Construction, and Thopter Spy Network help accomplish exactly that. And there we are, folks, my top 3 favorite commander decks. Now this list, of course, is ever changing because I create new decks way too often, so another deck might take one of these decks' place. If that happens though, I will update with my new top 3 favorites, but for now, this is my current top 3. In no particular order, just the 3 that I enjoy playing the most. If this kind of content is interesting to you, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you can. It helps me tremendously. Until next time, Chief out.